like we just came down here to the bottom. See if this bounces off this level or if we continue to push through it, push below. So it's a pretty obvious key level that we're at down here towards the bottom. So we'll go over that here in a second. All right, folks, thanks for coming out to opening bell here on the SP 500. We're going to be OODA looping our charts, giving us a trade plan for the day. Again, we're not here to predict which way the price is going to go. We're here to have a plan for when the price goes there. So trading futures contains risk, and only risk capital should be used. You can lose all your money trading futures, crypto, any other financial investment product. So use risk capital only. We have a disclaimer on the screen. Go ahead and take a picture of it. So good morning, Travis. How are you, buddy? Check, check, 1, 2, 3. Good morning, Travis. He's looking for his mic, I know.
Yeah, a couple things. I had to unmute me and then change my phone. I forgot you were about to hear crazy echo if I didn't.
No worries. No worries.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. We got the disclaimer out of the way. Had a nice little move up from a report. Now a move right back down to where we were. Boy, that was a quick elevator ride back down.
Yeah, it kind of seems like we just spun in circles. I was already looking for the market to go down from under that level, so it seems like it just kind of jumped up and returned back to what it was doing.
Agreed. So let's go ahead and just start going through our charts here, OODA looping our charts, and get a little sense of, a direction for the day. And when it hits that direction, we're going to go ahead and have a plan. So so on this 5-minute chart, pretty obvious level we're at right now that has not been able to get through this morning.
Yeah, I marked that this morning actually at 4. So you see bodies to wicks, same way we would off a daily level, marked early this morning. And you can see we've already come back and tested it once. Now we're trying yet another time.
Yep.
And it's a way to mark support ranges over time. If you've never tried it, I strongly recommend at least trying it. I'm not going to tell anyone how to trade, but it's worth seeing how these ranges are respected over time, especially in areas where there's a lot of resistance. Like if you see areas kind of like this where there's 4 or 5 candles in a row, good sign that there might be something there trying to hold a support. In this case, I drew the first one because that was the first time it hit that level.
Yep.
And then on the top side, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, if folks need a little help with the levels, there is a couple of blogs. We have 2 or 3 blogs on the website that you can go check out that help you with kind of drawing those levels. And then of course you can always come into session and get feedback from us on your levels that you draw. I think more people should utilize that. Travis is here 3 or 4 hours a day. I'm here for 3 or 4 hours a day, and we'd be happy to give feedback on levels when people draw them on their charts.
Yeah, agreed. Levels, channels as well, both have really helped me over time to create an expectation for the market, or to understand the expectation created by the market, I guess is a better way to put that. It's not that I'm controlling the market, it's that I can understand a little better what the market's doing at times when I have key levels and channels drawn just to mark what's been happening. To say if that keeps happening, this is what will happen. So,
or the odds of that happening
right.
are pretty high, are much higher than if you were just going to flip a coin and hope it goes up or down. I mean, that's kind of what we want to get out of, right? We want to get out of that coin flipping and hoping it goes up or down, but have something else to substantiate why we're saying, okay, the price has been supported here or is resisted here, and now we can have a trade plan around that.
I like it. So let's jump to the daily, see what's going on. Daily chart, you can see that same white box. First thing that stands out is this level of support. It's been holding a lot lately. Actually had a really good last couple of days off of this level. A little harder to see, but awesome level right now. So same way you marked on the 5-minute, bodies to wicks, and let it continue. This bigger level is same thing, bodies to wicks before. We've talked about them about every day, but they are still relevant. So I will continue to talk about them until they aren't. And then also another thing that stands out to me right now is how we're heading towards the bottom of this channel, and we're kind of bouncing off of it. So a few different reasons to think we're in support territory, but that could go both ways. Us fighting a support range tells us that support is going to try and hold, but it doesn't tell us that support has to hold. If the support gives out, that is a pretty explosive down move waiting to happen, just because this is as low as we've really been. Like if I shrink this daily chart and look what's under where we're at now, we haven't been there. Not in what, since 6/22 of 21, so over a year ago, if not before that. So
yeah, it's been a while.
Pretty interesting to think. We're as low as the market's been. From a longer term perspective, might be something to think about in an index that's built to go up. But I'm not saying anything about this economy tells me it has to roar back up right now. I'm unprofessional and not making any sort of trading advice. So just a thought. We're in a deep pullback on an index.
So right now, I would say that, this level is pretty strong. And if we can get below and stay below your channel and this level, that we could have a run down to 4,000, would not shock me at all.
I agree.
And then to go back up. So if we do see these levels broken, we're kind of in an area right now that's a little scary to me because of the support that we're seeing, that we're at a level to where it could really be supported. So I really want to see that support broken. So,
right.
What would be that level? Do you think that would be broken, that we would start looking at? I mean, we'll see it better on our smaller term charts, I think, because we're right in such a key level. But do we have an idea?
4090.
4090, yeah,
roughly, because that's the bottom of this wick, and it close to lines up with the bottom of the channel.
I would say that would be a great number. So maybe folks
4090 to 4100 or so.
Yeah, so folks, I would recommend maybe writing down that number, 4090, 4100, somewhere in there. That's about a 10-point range. That if we get below that, we could see a pretty nice drop. So just kind of keep that in mind. For the price to go up today, boy, we've got a lot of red candle we could recover from yesterday. So if the price did decide to go up, there's a lot of room for us to actually move back up today and recover some of yesterday's drop.
Not just yesterday. Think about the last couple weeks. Really, we've been nothing but down. I mean, we had a little retracement, but
since January,
we just ran almost straight down, and now we've just hit these support levels on the bottom. But since really late March, early April, just straight down.
Yep. So, I would say, boy, going back up, I'm gonna have to look at a little bit smaller chart, but on the daily, I would say if we can get back up above 4150, where this candle is really.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're gonna have to look. So we're kind of gonna be in a chop zone right now. It's gonna be kind of a big chop zone, unfortunately. But because of what I'm looking at when I look to my left, we're gonna have to have this candle go green before I'm really confident that we're gonna keep moving up. Otherwise, I feel like we could be chopping sideways for a while. So. So I think 4150 probably would be, I know it's 50 points above us.
No, I agree though. We're in it's like there's so many different regions to think both ways right now that today could be sideways or it could be explosive up or down to me. Like nothing screams advantage. I mean, the channel tells me we might go up, but it also tells me if it doesn't hold, we could blow through that. And then like you're saying, hundreds of points on the way down because nothing's down there.
Yeah.
So I think today is a day that I really need to take my bias out of the way. I know if we go up here, I like it. Like Rob says, maybe we can retest the top of this level that if you looked a couple days ago, you'd be amazed at how well we turned around there.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating, and to think that we've been trying to help other people to see these same levels, literally to the point we'll type them out number for number in our chat, say, hey, draw this on your charts. Yeah. So if you didn't have it and you didn't see turning around right at it, then just know that we're trying to help you see it, and they balance in together over time. But anyways, 240?
Yeah, 240. Let's do
240. We're right up against this bottom of the channel. You can see that. So...
yeah, we are right up against the bottom on mine as well, on my 240. So kind of at a key spot here. There's no doubt about it.
Another thing to think is we are in a downward momentum type trend, and trends break key levels in the direction of the trend. So that goes back to the channel tells me it should go up from here, but we're in a downtrend. So I can't hold on to that so hard that I stop out over and over if it keeps going down.
Oops. Yep. So I have,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would say, yeah. So, as we go through these charts, again, we can start looking at that number that we talked about, on the bottom was what, 4050 there. Well, 4090, I think is what we said. 4090 to 4100.
You said if it got above 4150, but on the bottom side, 4050, 4090 was the bottom of the box.
Correct.
So 4050 is the bottom of that very last wick. I agree. Both of them pretty big areas.
Yep. So if we're going to trade level to level, if we got below 4090, then we might look our next level would be to 40.50. So that's a 50-point range we could look to trade in. So just keep that in mind, folks, that if you're going to trade level to level, first level, probably 4,100, 40.90 to 4,100. And then next level down would be to 40.50, and below 40.50, probably 4,000. Just go to a nice even number at that point. Okay.
Here's a 1 hour chart. We can look at it real quick.
Yeah, you can also see back, May 1st. Look at the level that we're at right now. Does it not look almost familiar to that level we were at around May 1st? I'm sorry. Yeah, May 1st, right there. See how we kind of just chopped in that area and then broke down. So might we look at something similar today? Possibly.
Oh, absolutely. That's that support zone trying to hold, kind of like we talked about. It's like if it holds this support, then you see a move like this one, where it just came back, tested perfectly. On a 5 minute, I actually was able to take advantage of a lot of this trade because we showed a perfect turnaround at that level. And then if it doesn't hold, you get areas where it tried to hold, maybe even wicks back through, but then falls down. So I think part of that is, again, just not holding onto a bias so heavy. I think too often people will draw a channel or a support level and say, well, it didn't hold, I need to erase it. That's crap, or it doesn't work, or something like that. It's like, well, nothing works all the time in trading. You learned that in your first week of trading, didn't you?
Yeah. Should have, right? Should have.
Yeah, I mean, no matter where you are.
Watch it from the other side, because if it was a floor, it might become a ceiling.
Yeah, there you go.
Bingo. I really like that in the direction of the trend too. That's one of my favorite trades.
So I can put the link for YouTube in chat here. Let me grab that for you, Terry. Thanks for that, by the way, too. Let me grab it. It should be this. You can always find it too by going to our YouTube channel. You can always find it there too. I think it should be that.
I finally got it, but it's good to have it in chat for everybody,
There you go. Appreciate that.
Rob?
Okay. Yes, sir. Hey, Tony.
Just doing a mic check here, getting back on session with my new hotspot. And
right on, dude.
Everything all going here. Y'all doing okay?
Excellent. Everything's good, dude. Everything's good. So good to have you back.
Mom might be coming home this weekend, I hope.
Excellent. Excellent. We'll look forward to hearing from her. So looks like this level is holding here on this chart,
It's trying.
It's trying to. So did we look at a 15-minute yet?
Yeah, I kind of jumped past it, but let's stop at the 15
Just
for a minute.
Yeah, we can see our
channel.
Little sideways action going on right now on the 15. But we are making some lower lows after that report that spiked up. As you can see, our bottoms are starting to come down a little bit. So,
Yeah, but right to the channel every time.
Right to the channel.
So it's like, if I'm trading short, I'm still not trading through the channel yet. Until it shows me it's broken. Because even before this, you see how much it respected. Even the time it jumped out, you see it tried to turn at it, fell under, but then jumped right back through. And since then, we have not gotten under that. So again, that channel's drawn from a 4 hour. I'll run back to it just really, really quick. From the top of the move down, be as accurate as you can, drawing from the edges of the channels. It's okay. So first click, and then second, and then your third one, wherever it lines up. To me, it's right there. So 3 clicks, you have a channel there off of your draw tools and then trend channel. And you've got the same channel we have on the way down that you've watched. I mean, the market has respected this heavily on the way through. On a 5 minute, it's even more obvious than it is on a 4 hour, but heavily respected channel this couple weeks, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That's a whole month, actually. That's from late March all the way through this month. Pretty cool to see. And it would have been drawn April or so. So just a thought there, maybe earlier, but at the latest, April was the way I exactly had this, April 14th or so.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the 5. What are we thinking?
Boy, position is probably better to go long. I mean, if we're talking about an opening bell, I like the position a little bit better to go long. To go short, I mean, we're going to have a tough spot trying to clear a stop. I guess I'd probably try and clear the EMAs to go short. We still don't even have a 38% retracement on this move down. So I'd like to see this pop up a little bit more if I do have a short bias, which I do have a little bit of a short bias, but my position really isn't all that great right now, for sure.
Yeah, my bias this morning is saying long. You're saying like overall you have a short bias, not just this morning? Okay.
Well, I mean, no, I would say overall I've got a short bias. We're below all the EMAs. The bottoms are coming down. The problem is we haven't been able to get below that level and stay below it. So really what I like this to do is just have it come down, get below this level, and then let's use the level there as resistance to go ahead and take a short. So what I like it to do obviously is come down here, then use this as right to go.
Because now it's turning at a key level.
Yeah. Yep.
I really like when the market turns at a place that we've identified, be it a key level or a channel. I'll still take a turnaround trade, be it around 40% retracement with a clear stop, but I really like those turnarounds when they happen right where they're supposed to, if you will.
A lot more confidence. Gives me a lot more confidence, to take the trade. Right now, I'm a little tough on which direction I should be trading until opening bell tells me which way it wants to go. I would say right now, though, in terms of taking an opening bell trade, it's going to be a lot easier to get a better stop going long than it is to go short, because really anything I do going short is going to be a little tough to get a stop clear. You don't know how far this is going to want to come back. If it comes back 50% even, well, heck, that's all the way to 41, 32, 33, that's another 15 points up from here. So I'd have to say my bias at opening bell, the way it stands right now, is long, but my overall bias, if we can get below this level, will be short. And if we don't, then I think we'll just be chopping. I mean, I think we really need to get above, well, we said it before, right? 41.50.
Yep. That
on
was
the
our
top
number.
side, 41.50 on the top side, and on the bottom side, 41.10, and anything in between there could be a big chop city. Just going to have to be careful. That's all.
I agree.
Anybody else have any comments? Opening bell or just a trade plan for the day? Good morning, Derek.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys.
Trade the edges.
I think you just lined it out. I mean, that's perfect.
And levels. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it would be neat to see the price. Well, it would be neat to see the price do one of two things. We just talked about what we'd like, if it did this type of thing, came back, retested this, confirmation of a turnaround at a retest, and then went down. That would be great. The other thing that would be great too, I don't really care which it does, to be honest with you, is if the price decides to come back up, get above 41.50, come back down, retest either 41.50 or even the top of here, give us a confirmation of a turnaround and look to go long. I think that is really my trade plan for the day. That's what I'll be looking for. And on a Friday, a tough week I've had already, I'm not going to be looking to really trade this area too much. I'm going to look to stay out of that area. So that's kind of my plan for the day. And if we don't get above 41.50 and we don't get below 41.10, then I'll probably won't be trading.
I agree. I'm intrigued by what the 30-second box will do today too. Usually I like when the 30-second box lines up with what I'm already looking for. But today's so rangy and not clear that I'm not even entirely sure what I would want the 30-second box to show me. I just have to kind of let it be. It's probably going to be in the middle of two big ranges that we haven't broken out of, depending on where opening range goes. But right now it seems we're really close to the middle between that support range on the bottom and the big daily range is the white box on the top. Again, that daily range is from bodies to wicks drawn March 8th or so. And you can see we've hit it a few different times going across. So I'm just kind of watching this range until it tells me otherwise.
Yep. That's exactly it. So that's one of the fun things about the 30-second opening range is that we can still get into a trade, even if our plan is, we're not sure what our plan is until it breaks certain levels. The opening range, that 30-second opening range, which we've been working on and practicing, gives us a little something to trade too. And whether we want to do that live or we want to practice it first, it is a strategy that we're looking at and we'll be developing, hopefully with the help of a few other people. So Derek had a channel. Hey, Derek, you want to just go ahead and we got a few minutes here still. Do you want to share your charts and share that channel on the daily?
Yeah, sure. I sent it to you and Travis. It's
Yeah,
just
go
one
for
I
it.
would, yeah, it was one I was looking at. Here, I'll just pull it up real quick so that you kind of
take yours down, Travis, when he pulls his up,
Sure.
so YouTube can see. And folks, we do have Sim Millions today too, our little fun trading competition. So that'll be beginning at for our members at
10.
11
We'll
o'clock.
start at 10:30.
10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock. Set up accounts. 10:30. We'll get it going, and it goes for an hour and a half. So
I got to take this. I'm sorry.
yeah, you bet. So there we go.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. So yeah, basically, right here, just trying to keep it simple. Here's this goes all the way back to the bottom in March, this channel, bottom in March. So we're really in this zone. And then this just goes back to the beginning of April. You can see this solid line. We came down and tested it. We tested it again, really close to testing it. And then I just took the same angle, drew a line. So I'm trying to make it as clean without having all the, in between stuff. So just two solid lines showing where we came up to, which ironically was the 100% line on the same channel, or the 50% line on the same channel. Down channel from there, the other day we came up and tested it and rejected, came back down, and now we're here. So we're on the bottom of this. If we break below that, and this right here was what you guys were saying.
Yeah. Yep.
Back down to 39.50 today, 39.60 maybe.
Yeah.
But if we hold here.
And that's for trading level to level to where, we've seen some levels at 40.50 that we're looking to get below 4,000, and then like Derek's talking about here, 39.50 or so. So we've got some levels to go if it does drop. But again, we're not saying the price is going to drop. What we're trying to do is formulate a plan. So Derek, in your opinion, if the price were to go up today, what would you be looking at in terms of on this daily chart, the price going up and then having a target on the top side?
Well, the first point, I see right here at the, this long-term channel, you can see where we have a lot of rejection at, let me put this line, 41.72.75. I mean, that was right in that area. You can see the crosshairs very clearly at that spot. And that's this long-term trend line.
Sure.
And then if it breaks that, you got the 10-day EMA. So that's 42.08. And then obviously this top channel. So, there's three spots I would look for, but there's a lot of room to run.
Yeah. So really there's a lot of room to run today, folks, 80 to 100 points going long or short, if we can get by those key levels, this morning. We've got a lot. If we don't, then we could be looking at a lot of sideways action for a while.
Yeah, sideways between these. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Awesome. Or like I said, down to the 39.70 today potentially, if it does break down, which we don't know.
We don't know.
Cool. All right.
Right on, dude.
Any other questions about this?
No, I think it's a great look. And
again, where the 10 crossed the 200 is the salmon line, and the 10 is this chartreuse line. That was a great spot for a short. Right when the 50 was crossing, same day, almost next day. So 50 is this blue. So just to look back. All right, I'll pull down mine. You want to pull yours up real quick?
Yeah, I can pull mine up until Travis gets back. He was on a little call, so.
Perfect.
So as you can see here now, folks, we're headed up. So we might be looking at a better spot to go short here. What it's really doing is giving us poor position to go long. We were talking about going long down here. We could get a better stop, but now we're getting better position to go short. The problem still is going to be our stop. Where would we want our stop right now to go short? At opening bell. Well, let's get out our
Fibonacci at opening bell.
Right. Tough spot at OB. Imagine that, right? So we haven't even made it to 38% right now. So I'd probably want to have my stop somewhere around 50% above the EMA. We're talking opening bell in 4 minutes. So boy, this is gonna be a tough one, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So somewhere right around there to go short. To go long, well, I would want to clear, down here, or at least these levels, I guess. That's a pretty big stop. There's a 12 point stop. So we're right in the middle, folks. Guess I'm gonna have to go short here, because now we do have a 30% retracement. We've got an EMA we're at a couple of EMAs. We have our first close above the 10 period moving average. So that might be a good spot for us to go short. I can't clear my stop no matter what I do. Anybody else? Any questions, comments about taking a trade, opening a bell? And I don't want to incur too much risk on this trade, so I will risk 5 points. Pretty standard trade. A lot of room below me too. A lot of headroom.
I'm either short at 41.29 or I'm long at 41.17.
There you go. That's really what we just talked about. So
Yeah,
41.17. Yep. And then 41. What'd you say?
29 to go short on the top side. It's the bottom of that daily range. It's a point under it. So that's a point above the support level from this morning and a point below the daily range, just to try and get into that trade.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You want to share your charts again?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So, and this looks like a decent little turnaround here for a short, to be honest. The problem is opening bell and the emotion that comes in at opening bell. We want to stay out of that whipsaw effect. That's why we couldn't take a standard trade just right here. That's why Travis is talking about it, taking limit orders to clear our stops, because we can't clear our stops. Just taking a market
Just
order.
set those up and leave them sitting in and see which one gets picked up if we want to as a forced OB trade. I kind of like the idea. It is on sim. I talk about it sometimes. I don't like forcing a trade over OB all the time.
Yeah.
This is something that I am building a zone in and practicing. Sometimes I really do like the area at OB. Today's a day that we're between two big ranges. So I like the idea of support at the bottom to go long or short at the top. But like Rob says, we are under all the EMAs. We're showing a turnaround at the 21. So wouldn't be unlikely to see us push down right from where we're at. So the long order on the bottom is a little more risky than the short one on the top, I believe. But the long one on the bottom is relying on the fact that we've had a strong level of support created and then used once, twice, and now the third time it turned around through it. So we're showing a lot of tendencies to push up from that area as well.
What kind of stop are you going to use?
4.
Risk management. A 4?
4 point stop. Yes,
Okay.
sir. So not trying to do too much. My stop will be close to the other side of that range if I get picked up here. And on the top side, same thing. I'm not really clearing anything. I'm not going to take that with a 10-point stop. If anything, what I clear is the level that I'm trading off of. But in reality, my order is right there. So what I would have to clear long is the top of that box. Now we're in. So see how it just wicked through, picked me up. It's kind of what I would anticipate, if you will, if the
There's a
support
feel
range
of no
holds.
wick, no wick today.
And there we go.
Yeah, now we're in OB, so we'll see what happens. What I do need to do is either decide, A, am I going to cancel this short trade? I think so. Since the long one picked up, we'll just let it ride, see what OB range does. So Randy, somebody who has the chart, I hate relying on other people, but whenever somebody gets OB range, just try and let me know if you can.
It'll be a few seconds. It's almost
good?
in. Bottom is 1575 so far. Top is 2225. That's it.
1575 to 2225. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
1575, 2225.
Yep.
And it's struggling to make it out either side right now.
Yeah,
What
it
I
is.
can do is turn this into my 30-second range. So double click, template, load, orange is the 30-second range. Apply.
This looks a little choppy.
It does.
This looks like it could be a little choppy.
Yeah, chopped once. There's
Yeah.
the second one.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to, I'm going to go ahead and put mine in at the top now. So I'm going to look to buy at 4122.25 and we're in and we're out. That's how quick it went.
Let's see what we can do. We're still in our long trade here. Scaled out once.
Mm-hmm.
Almost hit my stop, but didn't.
Wow. Yeah.
It's actually, it did hit my stop on my live account. I took the same trade, so I thought
Yeah.
that's okay though. Quarter point apart, so I'm out of my trade, but the sim one looks good.
Don't you love that?
When you're a quarter point
Oh,
apart,
yeah.
thinking you're doing the
Yeah.
same thing. Oh well.
And we're getting some real chop right now, trying to get out the top side. So this is kind of what we thought might happen. That it may have a tough time picking which direction it wants to really take off and go. All right, now I'm in short. And
That's a scary area on the bottom
That's
side of that
horrible.
opening range. It's a
It's
support
horrible.
range stacked up against that OB
It's
pushing
horrible.
down.
yeah,
Agreed.
it's a horrible spot, but I have to do it, right? So I mean, I don't have to do anything, but I do need to try and be consistent. And if I'm going to practice this, then I have to get into
Right.
it and take the stop outs and not try to win the trade, but try to gather data.
Let's stop out. No, I
Yeah.
got
We just hit our first pay line on the short, so yeah, I think we will move our final. And come on, a little bit more. We got our second pay line coming here. There we go. So we got our second pay line in. So now we're going to move our stop up to profitability and see if we can ride this down a little bit. Did you get it in short, Randy?
No, I was switching accounts because I did my 2x4 in that account and
Yeah.
had hit my limit on that. And yeah, it swung out before I could switch and get in.
I changed priorities and made it on the right account this time.
Attaboy.
So we'll see if it can make it.
So now I'm practicing not getting FOMO.
There you go. Wait for it to retest maybe, or
Yeah, get in at the first pay line, which it just hit again, but it just tapped me and didn't get me in. You know, stuff like that.
so the short, somewhat of a short bias we had this morning. At least I had, because of the lower lows. I hated the zone that we're in that we have to break through. But you know, when a lot of times for me, sometimes the best way for me to see what is the trend or what way I be trading is just to stand up for there's our third pay line hit. Now we've got a 16. So we've got a 4, an 8, and a 12. We're looking at our final contract here to fill for 16.
So I've scaled out of my trade as well, and I have a runner that's at negative Jupiter for one contract. We'll see where it goes.
Yep, we got the same trade.
My stops move forward about 3 points ahead of my entry. So from 41.14, we're at 41.11. So I'll stop out for 3 points positive or let it keep running. Today's a day that with nothing under us, we talked about earlier on the daily, nothing's under us. So if it wants to run, I'm just going to move out of the way. Do I expect to get to 38.24? Not a chance. I expect my stop to get me out of this trade. But if we have that unusual day, break the floor and run away like a rocket ship, then one contract will be happy about that, I guess you could say.
Very happy. You bet. I went ahead and moved mine out of the way as well. So I've got a runner in now as well. So, and I will manually trail my stop down.
1 second.
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking like yesterday. This has been a great one to gotten some contracts in. I should have tried 1 or 2 more times, but it was just the way it was chopping at the top and the bottom.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was doing that thing where it was my stops weren't getting in fast enough.
Yeah.
I was lagging behind, and so said, okay, that's a day I can't, risk a whole lot.
So we are short on our runner. So we've got one contract running right now. Basically the same trade as Travis. I think I might be 2 points ahead of him right now.
So
1.5 ahead.
my stop is squeezed down. One thing to think about, if I look at how it was set up, the way this stop's set up doesn't show. Let's try again. I got to reselect my trade because my stop doesn't want to show. But what this trailing stop does is once I make it to my runner's the fourth contract, so I'll just go ahead and pull it up. Once I'm 10 points positive, it goes 7 points back. Another way of saying that, once I'm 10 points positive, I lock in 3. And it doesn't move because frequency is 999. Once I'm 20 points positive, I lock in 15, and it doesn't move. So that's where you saw that last one move. And if I make it all the way to 40 points positive, we'll lock in 35. And then it won't move again. And if I want to move it, I can. But that's a way of just letting the market breathe a little bit with a trailing stop that doesn't necessarily squeeze the market so tight that it can't continue. So my goal is to just set milestones to say, if it goes this far, I'll move my stop to there. And if it goes that far, I'll move my stop to there. And if I want to come and adjust the trade, I can. I can look and say, I need a little more room for my stop. Maybe I move it up or move it down. One big thing to remember on Ninja, you do not cancel your trailing stop by moving it out of the way. If you accidentally put too tight of a trailing stop on, moving it out of the way only moves it for a second until it picks back up. In order to cancel it, you want to right click on your order, hover over it, choose your auto trail, and unenable it. So if you click that, that check mark will go away and you will no longer have a trailing stop. Just a thought for anyone who wants to jump it out of the way. I've had times where I accidentally put too tight of a stop on. I move it out of the way and then it picks right back up and stops out. So just a thought.
Yep.
And I'm going to cancel my last entry order up here.
Yeah.
Do you use the ATR to figure your stop?
I've kept this trade pretty rough. I like the ATR for a general stop. Yes. For a trailing stop, I usually don't even trail them that tight. I like to keep it at least 5 to 10 points behind it and set milestones until the last one. Because one of my biggest problems with trailing stops, let's say I wanted to go long from this box, I would put on this big trade thinking it's going to go long forever and it'd start to go up and then it'd come back down, take me out, and then continue forward or something like that. And a lot of times a market that's doing these little lightning bolt patterns, each little pullback will be at least 3 points or so. So I don't like to keep it too tight. I've liked the idea of setting milestones so far. I used to use a 3 to 5 point trailing stop sometimes to extend trades for a little bit, but that's more of a trying to get 10 points out of a 5 point gain rather than trying to get 20 or 30 out of a 5 point gain. Like if I want to let it run, my best chance to do that from what I've found out is to just leave it sitting still and not chase the market, because the faster it runs down, the quicker it'll come right back to hit you. One thing I do like to do is move it to each key level. Like in this case, if we start closing below this level and pushing down pretty well, I'll probably move my stop to right above that level, knowing that that's the next level that should hold. So I will chase candles down or chase key levels down. But as far as a hard trailing stop, I've moved away from wanting to put a number on that, whether it be 3, 4, or 5 points. I usually don't just keep a tight trailing stop as much as I just automate it to move down if I'm far enough ahead. I don't know if I answered your question or kind of danced around the subject, but it was close.
Well, I don't know if I listened to it because I was messing with my auto trail. I'm sorry.
That's okay. More or less, I'll just go back to what I'm saying. Let me go to my setup. It'd be easier to explain. So with a trailing stop, the way I have this one set up actually was originally designed for a little smaller markets than we've had lately with our 10 and 15 point average candle days, which are huge. But the way it's set up says if I'm 10 points positive, until I'm 10 points positive in a trade, nothing happens. I either stop out or I hit whatever happens. But once I hit 10 points positive, that's when a trailing stop picks up. The trailing stop picks up how far behind my trade is the stop loss. So that would be 7 points behind. So when I'm 10 points positive, I lock in 3. because the stop moves up to 7 points behind my 10, right? Because frequency is 999, that's how often the stop moves according to its stop loss. And with it at 999, it will never move. So the idea is that if I make it 10 points positive, I just lock in 3 and it never moves. So if I wanted to draw kind of what this stop would do from the beginning, ignore the price action right now, we go long, right? If I make it 10 points positive, my little stop that's -4 goes all the way up to 3. And we lock in 3, and now that's where my stop is. And if somehow the market goes from 10 all the way to 20 points positive without going back to that 3, well, now my stop that had locked in 3 teleports. It doesn't chase the market up, but once I hit 20 points, it teleports from locking in 3 to locking in 5 points behind 20, which is 15, which is where it's at right now. And then if we make it all the way from 20 to 40, my stop will go from 15 up to 35. Anywhere in between, I can choose whether I want to squeeze that stop. But it's a way of acknowledging that if I walk away from the charts and this market runs away from me, my stop will take a good portion of that move. But again, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I like it. It's a great way to great way to set it up.
I had too often where I would hurt myself because I was trying to do too much with trailing stops, and I'd stop out near break even, and it turns my risk management so far upside down so quickly that I've talked about it recently that I would have been better just taking a 4-3 or a 7-5 from those same exact positions.
At multiple contracts.
Right, at multiple contracts.
Yeah, just get your 4 or your 7 at 4 contracts versus trying to split them out. And and that's where I think people have to decide. That's why you need, folks, one of the reasons why we trade the MES. And boy, that pullback almost stopped me out too.
I was looking at it like, well, I'm happy with 15, but I'm happy with 27, 28.
I have 18 on mine, so I came real close. But one of the reasons why we went to the micros is so we can learn how to manage risk with multiple contracts. Learning how to manage risk with multiple contracts on the ES at $50 a point. Wow.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, you can get really expensive and be very painful. On the MES, at least you can do it on Sim first. Of course, always do it on Sim before you do it with live money, but you can jump over your live account. You can even do it with 2 contracts. You don't have to do 4. You can do 2 contracts and manage your risk with 2 and have a runner still. I
like starting with 2.
You bet. One of my best trades, well, not this week, but overall, one of my best trades is a 2 contract, a 6-5, and then a 12. So I'm using a 6-point gain and a 12-point gain. So on my second contract, it's 2.25 to 1 is the ratio. Anytime you can get a 2 to 1 or a 3 to 1 ratio, you're looking pretty good. That's a pretty profitable trade for you. So a lot of times you can get that profitable trade, that big 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, or even more on a runner when you have a level that you can trade to. So I think the key right now, one of the reasons why I'm up 35 points in this trade on my runner, one of the reasons why we have the confidence to do what we're doing right now is because we put in these levels prior to opening bell that we said, hey, if the price gets below here, we have a pretty good feeling that the price is going to drop to this level. So we're trading level to level right now.
Well, we made it under our 40-90, so.
Yep.
Okay, now, Travis, I'm ready to listen.
So for the 4th and a half, I'm just kidding.
So you had a 3-stage trigger, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can
Do you have any specific questions? Do you want me to just run all the way back through it?
No. So your increase, so every 10 points.
20 on this one, but yes. Well, yeah, sorry, 10, 20, and then 40. So 10 and then 20. But go ahead.
Yeah, so for every 10 points, it goes in your direction. You're moving your stop. The first one is what? 8 points?
7 points behind it. The next 2 are 5. Those, I change them sometimes, but the concept is very similar. It just depends on the size of the market. What I actually prefer doing now is something like, I know I'm changing everything around right in front of you, but I actually prefer to do something where they're all at 7 to give it a little more breathing room. And on the very last one, I leave the frequency like 8 or 12 or something like that, basically delaying when it moves up. So when the stop moves, it will actually be basically the market has to be 9 points in front of my stop for it to move. And then when it moves, it will be 7 points behind it. So the frequency just delays when it moves, but that's a trivial part of the equation. But bottom line, I just set the milestones at, you're right, 10 points and then 20 points to say if we hit 10 points positive, my stop goes to this far and locks in 3 and doesn't move. And if we go to 20 points positive, my stop that was at 3 teleports all the way up to, it would be 15, but -7 puts it at what, 13? So I would teleport from 3 to 13 points if it made it to 20 points positive without trailing though. So if the market jumped up and down and up and down and up and down, I would still be in that trade as long as we didn't hit my 3. In this case, you see how tight we squeezed it here at 30. That's a tight squeeze. I'll probably be out of this trade at 40.79. And if so, then what is that? 41.14 to 79 is a good 30 points or so, isn't it? It's close to it. $35 points.
So on my 240 chart, my next level is down at 40.32. So we're getting right now, we're getting to the bottom of the wick too. We're getting close to the bottom of the wick, right at 40.55. That was our final level, I think, wasn't it? 40.55. That was our kind of our target at the very, very bottom side. So that was the wick from.
Yeah, I remember the bottom of the wick was it.
Yeah, the wick from April 29th.
That's
so,
it.
That's it. So we're getting right there, folks. If we get below that, if we close below that, whoa.
There's literally nothing. I mean, the last few days, it's like,
yeah.
should I clean my charts? Well, we've been hammering in all these support areas that have just been there for months. I can't take them off. As much as I want to say, well, there's a lot on my charts right now. Oh, well, if we push down, there's nothing.
I've seen your charts much worse, so they're fine.
Yeah. I mean, I like to,
yeah.
I can tell you where every single thing on my chart came from. There's no line, there's no box that I'm just like, oh, I don't know what that is.
There's a daily demand zone at 40.16 and then one at 39.83.
40.16. Let's go look. I don't even have data that far back. I see the 40.16s as far as I go. I guess I need to load more days now that we're in new parts of the market. The way you do that, go to right click, data series, days to load. Instead of 365, let's do 500.
So the next big level I have though on my daily chart would be 39.93 to 40.18. So yes, 40.16. Malcolm, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, the top of that level for me would be 40.18. So 40.16, 40.18, close enough, right? And then it measures a wick, a bottom of a wick on May 12th. So that bottom of that wick on May 12th. So I went wicks to bodies to wicks from May 12th.
Yeah, I like that.
Wick, or is it May 13th? May 13th wick, and then up to the body at 40, somewhere in there. So 40.16, 40.18.
Use that same one now that we're in new territory. So there's the body of the green, 40.18 roughly, 18.50. And there's the bottom of the wick, roughly 93.50. So we stopped out. I think we made roughly 35 in that trade. No complaints. If it keeps running, so be it. Might try and get back in a little bit, but that's the way my trailing stop took me today. And it's awesome to have a setup where you can walk away and let the market run for you. So I'm going to have to move this all the way to current time. We're in 2022. Boom. So there's that bottom level if we get back to it. And again, we can go double check on our trade to see that we got stopped out 79. So from roughly, what was it, 14 to 79, we talked about it. It's roughly 35 points. And now we let it be. If I get a turnaround in the direction of the trend, I'll be looking for a trade. But for now, I just kind of take a step back as long as it runs. And I have to acknowledge that I'm not upset. Early on in chasing runners, if this keeps going, I'm walking away pulling my hair. And somebody's going to walk out and be like, dude, you made 30-something points on your, you're upset right now? And it's one of those things that it seems so obvious when you think about it, but it's really easy to get caught up in, oh, I wanted it to go to blank. And general rule of thumb, as long as you get more than your stop or more than your desired gain out of that trade, then the runner was worth it. If I would have taken a 7.5, but I get 10 out of that runner, awesome. Walk away happy. I think the downfall there is trying to do too much with runners and just stopping out on the other side when you just want it to run to the moon all the time as a trader, and you really have to decide, does this market show me it should go to the moon? Or do I see uptrend and think, wow, if this goes forever, I could get 300 and whatever points out of it? And how realistic is it? So I think trading really want to rely on the expectation created by the market more so than assume a trend will go forever.
Yep.
Rob, you still in this though?
Yeah, I'm still in it.
Nice.
Yeah, I have my stop at 87.5. I want to clear that wick. So I'm manual trailing mine down. So if it comes back up and gets above that wick, then I'm like, okay, because now we'll be at a pretty.
I finally got in on some 30-second range pullbacks, or for looking at the 30-second chart for normal pullback. So
cool.
Finally. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn to do. When it takes off like this, where do you get in? Yeah,
that's the tough part. It really is. You go to a 4-hour chart, or like if you go to right now, go to your 60-minute chart, and there's nowhere to get in on a 30 or a 60-minute chart, really.
No. You just have to. You have to say, that's the direction I want in it. If I can find it without being chopped up.
Yep.
That's the way it was yesterday. Fortunately, I was in it then. But, we're pushing the -2 Bollinger on the 4-hour again. That's where we were headed yesterday. Finally made it.
So we found a shad spawn yesterday. So Dawn and I were catching topwater fish. It was a lot of fun. And I was hoping to find that bite. So we had to go into all the coves yesterday and look around and look for shad busting. And that was a bite that John and I didn't really look for in our tournament last weekend. So Dawn and I yesterday went and said, okay, let's see if we can find a shad spawn. And we found it. Yay. So we got another pattern to run tomorrow for our tournament. So that should be fun. That's a fun bite too, boys, when you're fishing topwater all day.
Which lake are you fishing tomorrow, Rob?
Don Pedro again.
Oh, again? Yeah.
I know, right? The lake I love to hate.
Yeah.
Good old Don Pedro, Lake Don Pedro here in Northern California. So. So yeah, this was a nice opening range trade. Very nice. Obviously, I got chopped up a couple times going through the top, but this one obviously well makes up for it. So on my first contract, I made 4. My second made 8. My third made 12. And my fourth contract, I'm in a runner right now, and I'm up 46 points. So we're just gonna let this go.
We're already at 57.50.
Yeah.
On the points.
Yep.
For the first hour.
It's where my patience used to get tested a lot more than it does now. You see this runner, you think, I want to get in. And in reality, 7 reds in a row doesn't tell me there's going to be an 8th. It gets kind of scary the further you go down that chain. It's like, do I really want to get in short after 6, 7 reds in a row? How many times can you look left on the chart and see 7 reds in a row go down that far and then still keep going enough? At least earlier. I see what you're saying, but in general, it's not a common tendency of the market. So I do want to define my advantage, and the more you know your rules, the easier it will be to define and stay out of certain areas, I think. So at least it is for me. Knowing what I'm supposed to do keeps me out of jumping in right now short to say, oh, this is running. I need to be in on this. I need money, right? That's the worst thing you can do as a trader is need money. And just saying, maybe not the worst, really, but it's up there.
No, it's up there because then you start trading with desperation. And
absolutely.
When you trade with desperation, well,
that's when you lose a trade and the next trade's double the contracts with a bigger stop and your gain's on the moon. You're like, yep, I'm going to make it all back and then some. And right. We kind of talked about that this morning, which is why I have a couple habits built around that prevent me from over trading at times, because it's really easy to get that I don't care. Who cares if I stop out again? I need this money back type situation. It's a really scary area.
It really is. It really is. So, all right, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and end the YouTube stream, but folks that are, I noticed a few folks just logged in, so I'm sure they're here for Sim Millions. So we'll be doing our little trading fund competition where we trade for an hour and a half. You have to take a minimum of 3 trades, but you can take as many as you want. Stay in your trade for a minimum of 10 minutes. And one contract at a time, no dollar cost averaging, no multi-contract trades, just bare bones, we call it. So we're going to be getting that going. Great job this morning, Travis. Thank you again. You've had a wonderful week this week. So keep it up, dude. People are really enjoying what you're doing, man. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I'm hesitant to talk about it sometimes, but it was one of those weeks where a couple days I was killing it, and I'd come back and people would be like, today was horrible. It was so choppy. And I'm thinking but it respected the key levels and it turned around where it should. Kind of like, do I even say anything or not? You know how sometimes if you're the one that had a bad day and somebody shows up dude, this was the best day ever. You're just go away. I don't even want to talk to you, right?
That's the way I felt this week, but
so I don't even, I had a couple days in a row this week where I had over 30 points on, I guess you could say old way of counting, if you will, but multiple contracts, 30 points. So it was a cool week.
Good week.
Cool week.
Well, great
Thank
job,
you all.
dude.
That's all tribute to FNL. It's not me trying to brag as much as saying thank you. I'm appreciative for what I've learned here. I didn't show up to FNL like this. It's been granted to me through the group, if you will.
Yep, that's what we do here. We share and collaborate and help each other get better. And we encourage traders to, jump on the mic, to, send us emails, say you need a little help. Travis, myself, other folks here, we want to help people. We found that when we help people, guess what? Selfishly, it helps us too. It really does. So if we can help anybody and it'll help us too, don't hesitate, folks, to send an email, jump on the mic, type in chat, whatever you want. You've got everybody here has my phone number. So, if you feel like you need a little help and you don't want to talk about it in session, I get that. Just shoot me an email, send me a text, and we can work something out with you, okay?
Just a side note, if anybody has my number, text me, because I lost all my numbers, and if you're not my local area code, you're getting the boot as far as a rejection. Nothing against anyone. I get 50 calls a day asking me about health insurance right now because I had to sign up recently, and I'm so quick to ignore them now if it's not somebody I know. So if it is one of y'all, don't take it personally. If I ignore your call, text me.
Yeah, I know. I'm still waiting on that car warranty call. So
right, man, they've been helping me with student loans for years. I can't wait.
Right on. All right, folks, have a great weekend. Folks, members, hang out. We're gonna go ahead and get into Sim Millions here in a second.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So if I text you about health insurance, will you still keep my number?
I don't know. It depends if I see your name or the health insurance first. If I see anything about health insurance, I might not even see that it's you.
Yeah, and members too. If you don't have Travis's number and you'd like to get it and reach out to him and say hi, maybe even just thank him for what he does for FNL on the mic, just shoot me a text. Everybody here has my number. Shoot me a text and I'll give you his contact info. All right.